What up, everybody? It's your girl July from Kickback Couture, and today is another episode of The Chop. Today I'll be talking about spare part phrases and section pieces. So let's get into explaining what all of that is. I have a collection of samples from Loop Masters, in which the link will be down in the description. Let's go ahead and pick one we like and then chop it up accordingly. I'm liking this one. I'm gonna pick one more. I'm liking this one as well. Alright, so let's get going. The first thing I will do is a spare part phrase. A spare part phrase is a section of a complete phrase. So a complete phrase would be the definition of a loop. You know, like 4 bars or something like that, 1 bar, depends on what the phrase is. So let's go ahead and take this first sample we have here, chop it up. If you missed the first episode, be sure to check that one out. We are on episode 2 right now. So let's get into it. Spare part phrase. Let's listen to this, see what we like, what I like. So I like this area here before it started looping, so I'm gonna go ahead and chop here, split it slices, and let's see what we have following that. Alright, so let's go ahead, zoom in. I'm going to chop around this area. So I'm going to chop here. And this isn't a perfect loop, and that's the point. Now, in making sample beats, we don't have to chop perfect loops all the time. The point is to chop sections that we can create a loop out of if we're not going to chop that loop straight from the sample. Alright, so I can hear this section looping here in addition to other parts of it. So what I'm going to do is right click this. I'm going to bounce it to new clips, bounce clips to new samples, and it's going to show up in my self-contained samples right over here, all the samples I have in my reason file at the moment. And let's go ahead and place this here. Alright, so I now have my chop right here, and I'm gonna put it on exclusive hits. Gonna leave it on in nano. Exclusive hits, let's go with monophonic, so each time I press it, it'll re-trigger. And I like that. Dope. Now I'm gonna go through this part and see what else I might want from it. I'm gonna take this part here, split it slices, bounce clip to new samples, and now that right there is an example of a section piece. A smaller section of a complete phrase. So if I get my metronome going, let's go ahead and solo this. Make sure I have it. Alright, perfect. Full level. Alright, cool. So I'm just gonna have all of these mute each other. Gonna put them on mute groups so they won't play at the same time, and any chops I add later will do the same thing if I add them to that mute group. Alright, so I got my first chop, which was this of this large phrase. Now let's go ahead, dig in, see what else I might like to pull in. Whoops. Let's pull this part out. Pull this part out. Alright, cool. And I'm just gonna send these to new samples as well. That is 3, 4, and 5. So 3 here, 4 here, 5 here. Now that I have my samples loaded up into Kong, I'm gonna make sure I have them all a part of the same mute group. So just gonna hit mute, mute A, mute A, so we're good. Alright, so we're good. I would like to now, I'll get rid of this because I still have it. And let's go ahead, go through this next one, see what's in it. I'm gonna take that first stab. That's actually a stab. So far we've talked about section pieces, spare part phrases, and stab. Stab would just be like one sound, which is this chord hit that I'm getting now from this sample. Alright, I'm now going to bounce these clips to new samples and add these into our Kong. And we're located here now. Add those to the mute group A. We're good to go. And I'm not too worried about the clicking at the end because I will be playing these samples in a manner that will allow us to not even get through the entire sample. Next thing, I'm going to add a few inserts, some effects to, make the sample a little different, add a little swaviness to it and whatnot. So let's go ahead and grab, let's go with isotope vinyl. Let's go with a little bit of electrical noise, some wear, warp depth. I'm now going to program a pattern here. Right, I now have my pattern programmed within Kong, and I ended up bringing down the warp depth on the isotope vinyl, and I ended up adding isolate X to get rid of those highs and a little bit of the lows, well, a lot of bit of the lows, I suppose. And I added some reverb straight from Kong, the drum reverb. Got a short decay, relatively small to medium size, and it's kind of on the dry side. So this is what my pattern looks like. Start adding in those drums and the So if you like this video, give it a like, comment down below, subscribe. Most definitely let me know what you would like to see next. It's all culture, kickback, cook up. Remember, today we learned about spare part phrases, section pieces, and we talked about stabs.